Hey everybody, welcome back. Psychedelic here. Hopping back into some vinyl finds. These are all from the record show, all LPs. And yeah, it's been about a month and a half since the record show happened in Omaha. And I probably hadn't gone the last couple times, whether it be, might have been from the weather conditions or something came up. Whatever it was, I didn't make it the last couple times, but wasn't missing it terribly. I mean, I still always come out with stuff. I mean, the shops have been treating me well. Online's been a little sporadic lately, but those are all coming up as well. I've been trying to build up that online finds video, and I've got a couple heavy hitters in there. Really, really excited to talk about. And then, of course, some stuff from the shops I still have been holding off as well, but we're getting there. So with these vinyl finds, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive, hopefully, into these, and hopefully some of these will pique your interest if you haven't heard these. This first one, man, this is the highlight of the show for me, because I've been looking for this, reissue or not, for a very long time. Like, we're talking from the Stone Age of my psych interests, because I've first discovered this on my own somehow. Someone had uploaded the full length, and I was just like totally whisked away from this. And you listen to it now, maybe it's not a big deal to a lot of people nowadays, because we've just uncovered a lot of these things, and the way social media has ramped up a lot. I mean, I felt like the only one in the world that knew this record at the time, and come to find out, some friends down in Texas that I have an original copy of this, so I can say I've held an original in my hands before. But boy, the price tag on this, a little steep for a reissue. But again, you never see this, and you never see it on Discogs, because they're always unofficial, never for sale. We're talking Young Flowers. This is Boomster Pistolen, which translates to the flower gun. This came out in 1968. This is a Danish group, and I think this is their first album. Originally came out on the Sonnet label, and I think they had at least one more after this, number 2, which I do remember liking. But this is pinnacle stuff for me. I mean, of course, very heavily influenced by Jimi Hendrix Experience, Cream. Both of those combinations for sure infused within this record. And you can even tell, like, some of the songs, you can tell where they dissected those influences from. Like, was it the first track? Definitely has the Stoned Brew kind of Ginger Baker drum fills happening. You got some Hendrix licks going on, very power trio inspired, and they were a power trio. Yeah, there was one track that sounds like Canned Heat. I think it's like the 3rd track on this one. I do not speak their native language, so I'm not even going to pronounce these. But the first track on side 2 is just like wah wah heaven, baby. It takes you there. Very, very drenched in reverb, and these kind of echo effects, and just dueling guitar happening on both, with the stereophonic effect. But my favorite on here is probably April of '68, the closing instrumental track, which is totally like, they're definitely doing a third stone from the sun kind of thing, where the intensity kind of drops and then it ramps up and goes all over the place. Definitely messing with the phasing throttle in the studio. Lots of phasing effects, but the way it's recorded, though, I mean, this is like got to be one of the first groups that really were just really coming off high with the Hendrix Experience, because I think, at the time Hendrix had made it to Copenhagen, and these guys witnessed him in person and just rode that wave, man. So Young Flowers, and just what an amazing artwork that is, man. The weed flowers. But yeah, so it's a reproduction, almost exactly like it, and I don't know where they sourced this from. It's got a black and white replica there of the original label. I don't know where they sourced this from, but boy, I tell you what, man, this is like ultra crisp. Like, doesn't even sound like CD or digital quality. It does sound like really high-end master tape quality. This has got a really good sound to it. I don't know Yeah, all I know is unofficial. Probably came out like sometime in the early, 2010s maybe. But really was my eyes popped when I saw this. I was like, yes, been looking for this. I don't even care what pressing it is. I've been wanting it. But like I said, got some friends down in Texas that have an original, and just always been jealous ever since. Can't say enough good things about it. Young Flowers, essential for me. Even though it is kind of bluesy in spots, they just really do, they do it justice. They do it right, man. Going on to this one, this is kind of a controversial take, so I might spend some time with this. I actually picked this up from, give a shout out to Tuco Vintage Vinyl Hunter. He had a copy of this, and I usually come out with something from this table. He dropped the price a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, let's give this a shot. So we're talking about Tripsichord Music Box, as it was originally called. This is actually in a Karma reissue. And I'm okay with owning a Karmas. I know they've got some backlash in the past from some people, but some records do sound pretty good, and this has actually been sourced as sounding better than the Janus press. And in comparison to like the original, which was on the, San Francisco Sound label, that was owned by Cats. Really nice, devoted gold lettering there with Tripsichord. But this one's just been always, for me, like I've listened to this in the past and just always come out kind of lukewarm on it, just kind of a little disappointed. Because people have just really hyped this up as like one of the best West Coast acid rock San Francisco albums of its time. And I'm just like, 2 tracks in, I'm like, really? It's not really taken off the way you'd want it to. However, having owned this now, giving a little more intimate listening sessions, I can say that, this has grown on me a little bit. I've come to appreciate it. And it's not like there's bad playing on here. They're actually really experienced players. But the thing that kind of draws me away from it is just, it's got this kind of country fried sound that I'm not really enjoying where they're going with it. Like the tones and some of the arrangements are a little off kilter, kind of progressive slightly. And even though there are some good tracks to find, don't get me wrong, like on The Last Ride, which is a pretty decent opener. It's got this kind of neutral tempo, this kind of groove going with it. Black Door's not bad. But then you get to tracks like The New Word, Short Order Steward. It's just kind of your basic blues shuffles and doing these kind of really boring guitar licks for me up until they do some soloing. Then they get pretty good. There's a guitar player on here, Frank Strait. But as far as like my 2 biggest highlights is probably Son of the Morning, a little bit of a lengthier track, and then the big highlight for me is Fly Baby, opening up with like some cricket noises. Sound like they're playing in this backwoodsy, like, I don't know, kind of in the rural California area. Gives me some of that like Wilson McKinley, album art kind of vibe when you listen to it. Shared vocal harmonies. But at that point in the album, it's like the 7th track. Is that right? It's like the 8th track. By that point, it's kind of like I've already checked out. And this is like their peak moment for me. This is the 2 LP, so it's got some bonus tracks, including the ones that were featured on the 5th Pipe Dream. Which honestly, those 3 tracks, I find way better than much of this. A lot more of that crude acid fuzz guitar. Just a lot more psych influence than, say, this one, where it's a little more like late period folk rock. And, kind of just showing off on the guitar licks, in the middle sections, and just doesn't really do much for me. But I know I'm in the minority. Thankfully, ever since mentioning this, some people have come out and said, yes, they agree with me. And I'm like, okay, thank goodness I'm not alone in that camp. They were definitely going through some spiritual trips as well. They were definitely, I think there might have been like a Mormon in the group and some other different faiths they were kind of following, and it's definitely reflected in some of the lyrics. So, Tripsichord, let me know what you think of this. I'm a little soft on it, but overall, I might keep it for a while and just see where my tastes land with it over time. I think this is the first one I picked up at the show. Moving on to this. This is one that, again, kind of been seeking this one out. This one fits into the same camps as, say, Peter and Gordon, Chad and Jeremy getting switched onto the whole psych scene. This, of course, is Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart. One of them passed away recently. I think this year. I forget which one. I get them mixed up. Of course, they're most famous for writing several Monkees songs early on. It's on A&M. It was like their last gasp of, using all that money they earned and just kind of throwing out all these different concepts and ideas. In a lot of ways, it kind of reminds me of that other one on A&M, The Merchants of Dream, Strange Night Voyage. It's got a little bit of that going on. I might prefer that one over this. But I do remember a long time ago I used, Mixcloud, and I was throwing in, some random pop psych tracks, and the one I kept forgetting was on here. Strawberry Girl might be my favorite off of here. Definitely has like a sort of lightweight Strawberry Alarm Clock kind of sound. The association comes to mind. The only flaw with this record, though, side one, all the way up into the last track, they do a cover variation of Jumpin' Jack Flash. It takes a little bit of steam to get the ball rolling. All side one just has these continuous flows of like, it's not gospel-y sounding, but it's got this kind of like, a little bit of a gospel-y concept record kind of feel to it. And I'm just like, where are we going, dudes? But yeah, like I said, finally they find that moment in Jumpin' Jack Flash. It's kind of a heady, kind of slow version of that track. Got some backward guitar effects going on. Really good. And pretty much all of side two just works for me. So it's somewhat of a half of a good record here going on. I found this for $5. It's probably all you should pay for it. If you see it for a little more, don't hesitate too much. But yeah, check those tracks out. Strawberry Girl, Jumpin' Jack Flash. And they even do like a Four Tops track. I forget which one it was. Thanks for Sunday, maybe. There's a couple twists and turns in terms of like some of the moods that they go in. It goes kind of happy to bittersweet to nostalgic feelings. Definitely kind of a fall record. It's all happening on the inside. So had to pick that up, kind of refresh my memory. And then we're moving on to the first comp. I also picked this up for $5, which it does seem to go for a little more online. Sometimes I have to like check the track listing to make sure if it's something I do want. And yeah, thankfully this had a couple tracks I knew right away. Hadn't heard them in a long time. And this, of course, is Hoosier Hot Shots. Anybody from Indiana out there? This is definitely one for you. Indiana in the garage era. And this is pretty much strictly kind of frat rock mixed with garage and maybe a couple psych moments on here. The ones that stood out for me, XL's with their track Mary Jane. I played that on a recent live stream, and as well as the end track, Come On Into My World. They both kind of open up both sides there. Those are the two tracks that stood out to me. But for the rest of this, kind of getting a little more familiarized with some of these. I may have heard them a long time ago, just don't really quite, reflect my memory too much. But I was in a heavy garage rock, proto-punk phase, garage from 66, 65, 67 and so on. From like, high school years till, graduate from college, I was in a huge garage phase. Kind of slipped out a little bit, but of course, these are definitely my roots and would definitely listen to this more often than a lot of stuff coming out now, for sure. But yeah, I still love garage music. Just a little bit on the back burner some days. Yeah, Hoosier Hot Shots. When you got the Tikis, Careful What You Say, Backdoor Men, Idle Few. And the thing with this one too, it's kind of cool how they go into detail of like how some of these bands form, from different states to state. How, sometimes the cultural impact, their surroundings, what environment they grow up in, sometimes kind of reflects against like what they're truly thinking, or, especially stuff like this time with Vietnam and you know, the cultural movements, people just get, you know, the youthful kids just got really swept up in that, and you can definitely, they go into the little detail about that here on the back, and I'm always about that, man. Just learning about why kids make the music that they did back then. You know, just trying to learn a little more about them through the music. And then yeah, as we're dwindling down here, a couple different styles happening here. You know, as you may have seen on Instagram, I've been kind of dipping a little more into the power pop movement, and I'm always welcome to it. But I'm a little, just like everything I listen to, I can always be a little particular about what I want in my power pop, what I want in my psych pop, and all that kind of stuff. But this band lately, I'm going to show one that I picked up from the shop too, because I found both of their albums. This one was like under 10 bucks, but it's funny. I found like 4 copies after this that were in way better shape. I even found a sealed one. We're talking about Shoes, present tense. So I'm sort of getting wrapped up in this band for the first time. It does play. It's just got some kind of nasty marks, but it does play through. Just kind of looks ugly. But yeah, this was like $5, $6 or something. And this is kind of like their big break on Elektra once they got finished with some of their home recordings, as you may know. I haven't really listened to anything after this one, so I'm still kind of just diving into their early career. But this does have some winners, man. I mean, Tomorrow Night, Too Late, a couple great solid openers. My favorite off of here is Every Girl. It's kind of short and sweet, but it's got that very ethereal kind of guitar playing. A lot of the tracks on here, you're just amazed that they didn't break out into bigger success than they did. But they were notable for being one of the first groups that premiered on MTV around the time that debuted, and I think their legacy has lived on fairly well from what I can see. Zion, Illinois. I think that's where they're from. Something about Illinois in the waters, man. Something about Illinois. And then, of course, this is the one I picked up locally. I'm just sharing it because Shoes. Is that a good band name or not? I don't think it is, but favorite new band, Shoes. I don't think that just rolls off the tongue very well. Black vinyl Shoes. This is the second press on PVC. This came out in like 77. I definitely prefer this. This is like a half step above present tense, at least for me. The only word that comes to mind with this one, fizzly. It's very fizzy. Fizzly, whatever word you want to choose there. The only complaint on this one, the drums sometimes, they have a very like flat, cardboardy kind of sound when everything else sounds really great. Like on probably one of my favorite tracks, Not Me, Fatal, and then what's the last track? Nowhere So Fast. It's got the really great power chords working through it. Yeah. Lots of tracks on here, probably like 15 or so tracks. Not every song, I mean, a lot of the songs do sound the same, but they're all individually very unique on their own. Yeah, and this was like 15 bucks at the shop. Despite, you know, a little rip on the back, I mean, this is a pretty nice copy. I wonder how long this is sat in vintage vinyl. Just to casually walk in the shop and then just seek it out, and there it is. Black vinyl Shoes. Okay, we got 2 more here. This is the last one from the record show, and then the very last one I picked up at Grapefruit when I was bringing my record Astral Yacht up for consignment. And so ending on this one is one called Redwing. This is, I thought this was their only album, but I guess they made maybe up towards 10 LPs back in their prime years. At least a handful. And Redwing actually formed from the whole dismantle of the band Glad. That was on ABC, Feeling Glad. It's at least got 3 members from that group. And man, this is like one of the flabbiest wax I've ever seen. I mean, I'm just like holding it, and look how bowl-shaped it gets from me just holding it. This is like worse than Dynaflex. It's on the Fantasy label. White label promo. I've always loved the Fantasy label for some reason. It's that design. Full radial stereo. And yeah, this is a cheap copy. This was also like $5, still in the shrink. And yeah, this was also in the shop, but I was a little on the fence about it. I mean, this is not something I'm gonna listen to every day. However, somehow I like this better than Tripsichord, just for my taste. This is a little more country rock, folk rock, and definitely bluesy, but where they take the blues, it's a little bit in like a Rolling Stones, you know, early 70s kind of style. Please Doctor Please. And what's another favorite? Old Maggie, Don't Lift the Weight. Yeah, I don't know. They got a great style to me. It's kind of straightforward, kind of straight-laced, very typical for its time. I should also highlight the opener on side 2, Shorty Go Home. It's like a 4.5-minute cut. That's kind of the most power poppy track. They got a little bit of that pre-power pop moving in here a little bit with some of the grooves and some of the, you know, sort of jangliness about it. But Shorty Go Home, there's actually a promo video on YouTube if you seek that out. So Redwing, some cute looking guys, right? Jeez, those sideburns, dude. And then onto this one. This is a really nice surprise at the shop. Used a little bit of credit, remaining credit from last time. And this is a reissue on the cheap end. Not really trying to hunt down original. I mean, of course, who wouldn't want one? But for 20 bucks, I'm not going to complain. This is Harmonia Deluxe. This is their second and final one, unfortunately. I mean, of course, they went on to do other things. A lot of the different members from, you know, got people from Noi and Cluster. This is just part of that trilogy. And I don't know, some days I prefer this over Music Von Harmonia. But this one definitely has some like really excellent dreamscapes. Tracks like Walkie Talkie, Gollum might be my favorite off of here. You can just hear where they influenced a lot of different acts, you know, decades later up until the modern day. I mean, this sounds very, very well produced for its time. I think it's produced by the Plankster himself, Connie Plank. Yeah, engineered by him in Connie's studio. You got Dieter Mobius. You know, you got all the guests on here. And this one also features Manny Newmeyer of Guru Guru, of course. Compared to where they had the drum machine on the first one. Get some real drums on this. And yeah, I mean, what a great image to reflect the music, man. Harmonia Deluxe. You get a little bit of a insert here. Well, this is actually a insert sleeve. Imagine that's where they recorded it, right? Harmonia's home and studio. And you get some liner notes. I actually have not read those yet, so yeah. You can just hear a lot of influences in progressive electronic music and psychedelia and nature. Shot of the label here. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the update. Sorry if I went a little too long on these. I am kind of a little dreary today. You might be even picking up on that. You know, the only times I can shoot these videos some days is after work, and that's kind of one of those days you're tired after work and you have to muster up the energy to get back into what I really love doing, which also feels like a job, but one that I love to do. We'll be doing some live streams later this year, and as you know, turn over into 26. I'm trying to hop back into that routine when I can. All right, that about wraps it up. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hello.
You're becoming one of the regulars around here.
Yes, I guess I am.
How do you like it so far?
It's all right. Takes some getting used to, though.
Yes. Well, I'm sure you'll get to like it.